court ordered mandatory marriage counseling will be done by women because, as I said, more women are in psychology and therapy professions and clinical psychologists. So you've got a female judge, you got a female attorney, you got a female marriage therapist that's, we got to go to a counselor, marriage counseling, right? You're fucked from the jump. This is when people talk to me about like, oh, men are afraid to get married because they want to lose half their stuff. That's that's just the tip of the fucking iceberg, man. Like, you get married, you're probably going to get married. If you get married and you get divorced, you're probably going to be in front of a female judge with a female attorney, and probably yours too. And you probably have a court order. Assuming you go to marriage counseling, it will probably be a female marriage counselor because psychology is dominated by women right now. Do you think that there might be some implicit bias? Do you think that they're going to be an arbitrary, level-headed, no bias one way or the other? All you have to do to understand that how fucked you would be is that, and this is statistical, this has been one of the most well-researched data points that you'll ever find, is that women are charged far more leniently with the same crimes that men are charged. And this has been the case since like the early 2000s, at least when they started tracking this. Same crimes, men are charged way more harshly. Like women get much leaner, more lenient sentencing than men do for the exact same crimes. And the only reason I'm bringing this up is because at the end of this month, I'm going to, like the last Sunday of the month, or maybe the first Sunday of June, I'm not sure. I will be doing my show. Finally, I have all the data I need to do my show on the teacher grapists, like statutory grapists. I'm going to do a very fully comprehensive show on that because I've been collecting all of these stories since, really the end of February, beginning of March. So for 3 months, I've been collecting all of these stories, and it is a plague. It is you want to talk about like grape culture? It exists in most public schools. It's not men, it's women, and they all fit a certain profile. And they all fit a certain look, physiognomy, and they all have, there's definitely indicators of a woman who is more likely to want to get with her underage, male student, usually male. There's a few. There were 2 of them out of all the sets that I've got. 2 of them actually got with girls. But it is common enough that over the course of the last 3 months, I'm looking at probably at least, May's not over yet. I think I've got at least 30 incidents right now in 3 months. So you're talking an average of 10 a month. Individual, like separate cases. All of these are new cases. I tracked the dates that they were released or that they were arrested or whatever, booked. So, lady, and I love to get in this because people go, well, it's mostly men who are doing this kind of stuff. And I'm like, no, it's not. Because again, getting back to the girl world analogy here, if you look at the number of women who are in education right now, especially when it comes to like in middle school and high school, I want to say it's 78% female in the United States, in the US anyway. Some of these are like UK stories too, but in the United States, I want to say it's 78 or 7, it might even be 80 since I looked, but I have this infographic about why aren't there more men in education. I looked this up, by the way, after I did the show with Dr. Richard Reeves, because he's like, well, we need to get men into education. We need them to be teachers, which is a real tall order, Rich. And I thought about this. I found this, and it's like, of course, the reason that they don't want to get into it is because it's a low prestige, low status, low paying, and highly risky career to get into. So not only are you in an mostly all female environment, like I said, it's like 78. I think the last stats I looked at was 78% of your teachers from like preschool all the way to post-grad, right? Maybe graduate school, are going to be female. Unless you have like a math teacher or a coach, you're probably going to have mostly female teachers of everything today because women get into teaching. And you want to know, like, when people start talking about, like, well, teachers are or the schools are indoctrinating our kids to be like purple-haired Lena Dunham feminists. college is just a feminist indoctrination camp. Like, well, yeah, well, look at the gender skew of teachers, and you will understand why that is. You think it's guys that are doing that? I don't think so. I don't know, maybe there are, but like not to the it can't be to the degree, because there are far more teachers that are female in grammar school, middle school, high school, even at least community colleges and regular graduate colleges, right? So statistically speaking, there's going to be more women that are teachers than there are going to be men. So obviously the skew is going to skew towards women, but nobody makes a big deal about that. In fact, you know what they do? They go, well, you'll get this response. Every single one of these Twitter threads is like, well, where was she when I was 15 and I was a sophomore in high school? I would have loved a girl to fuck me like that. Well, you were probably a fat fuck back then and you're a fat fuck now, and she probably wouldn't have anything to do with you. So that's number one. And number two is that's the completely wrong attitude to have, because if we're going to talk about an equal standard of justice, there is a separate standard of justice for women and men. Men send an inappropriate text, they lose everything. You spent the last 10 years becoming a teacher. You had to learn how, whatever your subject is. Then you have to learn, you got to get your teaching credentials, and you have to learn how to teach. You have to learn all this shit. You have to protect yourself. You have to make sure that, and then how much are you spending on, let's just say for sake of argument, you're spending money on student loans and everything. You have an investment for a very low paying job, at least to start with, and a high probability that if you get any kind of reprimand for sending, even like looking the wrong way at a girl, you don't have to do that. They can just ruin your life if they want to, because they say, oh, Mr. Tomasi was looking at me, made me feel uncomfortable. Bye. And you never get a job again.